Hey guys, Jordan here. Today I'm so excited to do this first video review type of content for you guys. We've been going through this month talking all about the importance of education and investing in education. And so our whole point today is we're going to go and kind of video interview different entrepreneurs that have totally different types of businesses and have invested in different types of education to show you guys, where they were at in their business, why they invested in the type of education that they did, and how it's impacted their business, and also some advice to help you guys figure out, okay, if I am in a spot where I know I need to do something, whether it's learning a specific skill or scaling or growing or launching a program or whatever it might be, how do I figure out what to do, what type of education to invest in, what's worth it, what's not. And so our whole goal for today is to just highlight some different ways to do that and help you guys get started. For everyone that doesn't know, this is Laura Neff of Laura Lee Creative, and I'm really excited to just have her share about education because A, she's an awesome educator, and B, she's done a ton of investing in her own business. So to kick it off, Laura, I'd love for you to just kind of tell us about who you are and like what your business high level is.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi guys, I'm Laura. I'm so excited to be talking to you guys through Jordan and Pete's email list. I am a wedding photographer and brand photographer based in northern New Jersey. That's business number one. And then business number two is educating creatives and photographers how to have better work-life balance through the use of workflow systems and time management tools, strategies, tips, and all that stuff.
And I think that's kind of like a perfect segue because you obviously are passionate about education and you do it, like you teach it yourself, but I think to talk about like where you were before, when you just had your photography business, where were you before you invested in different education, whether it was coaching or getting in your first mastermind, like what made you say like, okay, I need to do something different, or like it's time to invest in myself?
Yeah, so I think that I'm like between Enneagram type 1 and 3, so it's like achiever, reformer, and I'm just always trying to better myself. And I think literally the worst thing we could do is just stay stagnant or settle for like mediocre in our business. And I feel like I had a really good wedding business. I was, shooting between 20 to 28 weddings a year. So like, that's awesome. My prices were not where I wanted them to be. And so I wanted to hire somebody who had walked the path before me, had the prices I wanted, had the clients I wanted, had the marketing tactics, and I wanted to learn from their mistakes so that I could kind of fast track my own success. I think it's important to note, like, you don't want to be an overnight success because you need a good foundation, but I really wanted a coach that could help me not make mistakes that were just going to take up a lot of time. Like, I didn't want to spend 5 years figuring out how to grow an email list or launch a course or something like that. And so when I started my educational business, this was this totally new realm. I knew photography. I did not know email list building or launching or copywriting or anything like that. So I would so much rather pay somebody who is an expert in the weakness that I have and turn it into a strength for me, or I delegate it. But I think I was at like a good place in my business and just knew that there was a next level for me if I put in the work, but I just didn't know what steps I needed to take. So I was like, I will thrive off of accountability. If you just tell me what to do, I will do it. And I think I went from, I was probably making like $60,000 to $70,000 a year in my photography business, and now this year alone we've hit over 100K in sales and like value of bookings and stuff, and it's only May 6th as the time we're doing this. So I think it just really gives you the ability to like catapult and multiply and scale a business.
How did you decide on like the type of education that you wanted to invest in, and how has that changed for your business too? Because I know that you've done everything from coaching to retreats to crazy masterminds.
Yeah.
So what made you, like, how did you make that decision, especially for people that say, I've never taken a course, or I've never hired a coach, or I've never gone to a retreat? Like, how did you figure out what was the right move for you? Also the right fit education wise, I guess, like the educator themselves, and how has that changed as your business has grown?
Yeah, so I think courses are amazing for something that you just need like a specific skill set on. So like I have a course on photography workflow, and I think it is awesome if that's like the one thing you need. But if you just have an overarching desire to take your business to the next level, I think that courses are a good way to start, but investing in something like a coach who is going to give you hands-on guidance, like step by step for your specific business and your specific problems, I think is huge. And so I hired my first coach actually, I've had a coach ever since I started my business. I was going to say 2016. That's a lie. I had a mentor starting in 2013 when I first started my photography business. I was like, all right, she's awesome. She's charging a lot. She's booking 30 weddings a year. I want to do that. Let's hire her. Worked with her for like a year, went to her workshop, and then I hired my first like just business specific coach, like non-photography specific, in 2016. I've been working with them since then. I'm still working with them, and they are awesome, and they really helped me step by step like figure out my opt-ins and figure out who my audience was and what offerings were going to be a good fit for them, and like brainstorm through things. And I think it really depends on your personality type and how you best process information and ideas. Because me personally, I am an outward processor. So I literally am paying people and like being in mastermind, paying for masterminds and coaches to be like, oh my God, these are all my ideas. I need to like word vomit everything so that I can like wrap my head around a plan to actually make it happen, because I just have so many things in my head that I need clarity on, and coaches and masterminds and stuff like that help me just kind of package them together in a good way to move forward. So coaches are definitely more one-on-one. And like you said, I've invested in masterminds up to like a $25,000 investment, which is crazy, and half the people watching this might have just like fallen off their chair and they cannot fathom spending that amount of money. This mastermind was somebody who was making multiple millions of dollars, who had done courses and membership sites and was an expert in launching and all the things that I was just like, I'm not an expert in any of this, so I need somebody to tell me. And I just was kind of going off of the mentality, those who pay attention. And I knew, I could get the same information in a $50 course. Like you could buy the best information ever packaged in a $50 course versus $25,000 mastermind. Like, what are you going to pay more attention to? And so I'm clearly implementing everything that I spent $25,000 to learn, because I don't want that money to go to waste. And that has been what has helped me just skyrocket my business this year. So I was in that mastermind last year, and now it's just trickling into me implementing everything that she taught this year. And again, like I'm an outward processor, so just having a community of people that are giving good ideas and able to help you process your own ideas has just been so invaluable, because I think it takes is like one good idea to just catapult your business.
So that was my next question was, how has it impacted your business?
Yeah.
But if you want to give specific examples of that, and then just if you had just one piece of advice for someone that is looking to invest in education or invest in themselves and their business, like what would that be?
Yeah. I think it has probably 5x my income from when I started investing in education to now. So that is a huge, substantial jump. 5 times is pretty awesome, without sacrificing my life. So I feel like I was really drawn to educators who have a holistic view of entrepreneurship and work-life balance. And some of the people I love listening to are like James Wedmore and Melissa Griffin, and they just really believe that you can have both a thriving business and a thriving personal life, and that's what I teach. And so I am not attracted to the types of educators that are like, you need to hustle 24/7 to be successful, and I'm just like, oh my God, no, you don't. So I think it is so important there's so much good education out there, but I think the most important thing is that you love the person that you're learning from. Not love on a personal level, but like I love the teaching style of the people that I invested in, and I share similar values with the people that I have invested in. I think, Melissa Griffin is whose mastermind I did, and I just love her as a person so much. And I was like, this is somebody that I want to learn from, and I can imagine my life being similar to how she has built her business in life, and just has such good values that I share similarly to her. And so I think the people that I'm investing a lot of time and money into are people that share those values. So I think, you could literally buy a $25,000 mastermind that if you don't like listening to them or like their teaching style, you're never going to implement it, because you are kind of becoming like a mirror of what you are getting taught. So I think that's probably the most important step in investing in education, is just like having a connection with who you're learning from.
Next, we're going to share our interview with Jess of Jess Jordana. So I'm so excited to introduce you guys to Jess, who's an amazing copywriter and creative, and another believer in just smart education and investing in your business. And so before I ask a bunch of questions, I'd love for you to just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So like you said, I'm Jess, and I'm a copywriter and a brand messaging strategist. And basically that means that I help creative business owners turn their passionate mumblings into words that people actually get. So I also live in northern New Mexico with my super cute husband and my super cute puppy, Presley and Joey, respectively. And I was a former high school English teacher, so I am very experienced in being able to pull things out of people that they don't necessarily know about themselves or want to say or anything like that, and turn it into something magical that they never thought they had in them. So that's what I do.
So obviously the reason that we're highlighting Jess and her business is not only is she an educator herself and shares a ton of content, 100% go follow her on Instagram because you'll learn a lot. And we'll link up to all of that. But we really want to focus and highlight how you've invested in your business, because I'll let you tell the story, but even before you started a business, what you invested in learning, and then when you did start, where were you before you started investing? What made you decide to invest? And like, what did that journey look like? Because obviously there's different levels of education and investment as you've been growing.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So I would kind of diagnose myself as a creative industry stalker before I ever had a creative business. So when I was in college and kind of just getting out of college, and when we just got married, I just followed everybody in the creative industry, and I just loved the idea of being able to own your own business. But I didn't have an idea yet, or I didn't think I did. So I spent a lot of time reading blogs, a lot of time watching webinars, downloading resources, like really all of the free stuff that you could possibly get. I took it all in because I thought that it was going to help me uncover something magical that I had in me, that I could start my own business. I guess about 2 to 3 years into that journey, I started teaching. So I was a high school English teacher for about 3 years after that. And during that journey, I learned a lot of other things in like the educational realm and the psychological realm. And I kind of combined that with my business knowledge from like self-education. So when I finally decided to start my business, I knew a lot of stuff, but I still didn't know what to do because I was kind of just like overwhelmed with the possibilities and information, but I didn't know what was going to be right for me and for my business. So I hired a business coach about 3 months into my business. So when I started my business, I was unexpectedly fully booked out in a week. And I was like, I don't know what to do with myself. So I quickly hired somebody that a trusted person recommended to me because, like I said, I had all the possibilities of what to do, but I didn't know which was going to be the right path for me, and all of that kind of stuff. So that was the very first thing that I invested in my business. And this makes me like feel sweaty and want to throw up a little bit. In our very first coaching call, we doubled my prices. And that was like the hardest thing in the whole entire world for me, but it didn't slow down my bookings, and it didn't change much in terms of the trajectory. Well, it changed the trajectory of my business, but it didn't change much in like the day-to-day. And so that was kind of the biggest epiphany for me, that it was the right thing to hire a business coach, because it totally took me out of my comfort zone from call number one.
Wow, I love that. And I think the fact that you talk about, like, there's a lot of great education out there, and there's a lot of great resources. Like, you put a lot of free content out there. We do, like, soak that all up. But at some point, I think we can fall into this analysis paralysis, especially being a creative person. Like, you know, there's a billion ways to launch a business or to price your services. And so to have someone help hold you accountable, and also to learn from their experience, or like challenge you to be like, you should be charging more, like twice as much, is really awesome. So I know, especially at least with your coach, you mentioned that you hired them because someone that you knew, you trusted, recommended them. So I would love for you to kind of just touch on how you've decided, like a little bit more on that, but how you've decided to invest in what it is, whether it's a coach or a program or like Creative at Heart or something like that. Because I think similar to, there's a lot of free content, there's a lot of great ways. Like, there's a lot of awesome coaches, and there's a lot of awesome conferences. So how do you determine when to invest and who to, you know, link arms with?
Yeah, I think in terms of the coach, a business coach is a big investment. So I knew that I didn't want to just hire any business coach. And my business coaches, Becky and Jesse from Ideal Less Life, came really, really highly recommended from Diana Kerr, who was my life coach at the time. And so I super trusted her 100%. I also saw how her business excelled because of the things that they helped her through. But I also heard little things that were really valuable to me about them. So like specifically that they go against the grain of a lot of things, and they don't just kind of like ride the wave of what everybody else is doing. And that's really valuable to me. Let's see, to make the decision, I think the combination of having somebody you trust recommend them. Number two, having the ability to hire them. So I'm not necessarily saying that you just have like an extra 4 figures like burning a hole in your pocket like randomly, but you do have the resources to not be able to kill your business or kill yourself by investing in that. I think that's really important in stewarding those finances well. And then just also knowing that they align with you and your values is all really important whenever you're choosing a one-on-one coach, for sure.
Is there anything else you wanted to add about like different types of education, or how you decided, like, from the business coach, obviously you did life coach to business coach, but how that's continued to grow or evolve as you've continued to grow?
Yeah. I also have, so, I mean, I've invested in probably every type of education. And so I can kind of speak to the difference between all of them. I have been selective in the ones that I've chosen. But after I hired business coaches, I also joined a mastermind that was a very specifically focused mastermind. And so I think masterminds can do a variety of things for you. And it depends on what you're wanting to get out of it. Number one, if you want to get community out of it, try to get specific about what type of community. So do you want people from other industries, or do you want people from your industry? Do you want community with people who are exactly where you are in business, or people who are a little bit further along? There are so many different types that you kind of have to get really specific. And so I had a goal because I'm a teacher, and I did speaking for teaching conferences and things like that. I wanted to get into the education world more quickly in creative business. And so I chose a speaking mastermind. And not only was that going toward my goal of speaking and educating, but it also was a lot of different industries. And that's really important to me too. Just because I think it allows you to be more vulnerable in a group setting, at least for me. And so those two things combined, and also having a trusted friend who recommended the person who was heading the mastermind, combined into that decision to be a part of that mastermind. So I think the word mastermind is really buzzwordy. Mm-hmm. I'm a copywriter, that made total sense. But all masterminds are not created equal. And so I think it's really important to be selective when you're choosing and make sure that it's going toward your goals for your business.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. And obviously, like the different types of education you invest in are going to be different investments themselves too. Mm-hmm. And so in terms of kind of just like how you chose, or financially, like if you want to share numbers, or even just like how you feel like it's returned on your business, even if that's not a percent ROI thing, just like how mm-hmm. it's grown you, how it's grown your business, and just kind of the idea of like putting your money where your mouth and your priorities are. You could just kind of touch on that or share whatever you're comfortable with. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I think so. Just to be transparent, my business coaches are 4 figures a month. And that's a really big investment. But like I said, we doubled my prices in the very first call. And I've been booked like 3 months in advance since I started. So with that in mind, my income doubled, like my yearly income doubled. And so I think that is a total return on investment. That's worth it, right? Yeah. And for my mastermind, I did not foresee this happening at all. But when I went to my mastermind retreat, I came home with 3 new clients. So like that goes into choosing your mastermind kind of, but I wouldn't necessarily go into it thinking of it from like that selfish perspective of like, can I get clients out of this? But more so being open to growth brings growth. And I think that is like the biggest lesson that I've learned from this is any educational experience is going to open your mind to new possibilities, and it's going to make you more confident. And that just like brings growth into your business. And it's
I love it. And I think when you step out and like invest in yourself, or say like, I want to do this, like opportunities come up because you were met a certain person. Like, not that you do it to be like, I'm gonna go in there and network with everyone and get right. all these clients, but it happens. Show like it finds needs that you maybe didn't know, or ways you can serve people, or you have other people like speaking truth and life into you of like, wait, you do that, I need that. And, or it's really cool. I think a lot of investing in education is surrounding yourself with people, like you said, whether it's a mastermind or coaches who are going to encourage you and challenge you. And then that kind of does, I don't know what the word is, you're the copywriter, but you ripple effect into
yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was what I was calling.
Yeah, that was good.
So then my last question for you, and you can kind of add whatever else you have, is what is one piece of advice that you'd give to someone who excuse me, is looking to start investing? They're an entrepreneur, maybe it's where they were with you, right? Like when you first started, like, I'm ready to start investing in education, I want to start showing up, and what's the one piece of advice that you give them?
I would say, number 1, be selective. And I kind of talked about how to be selective. Like, it can really go a lot of different ways, but make sure you have your big picture goals in mind, and that is moving you forward in those goals. And then my second piece of advice would be to go all in, because if you are going into these educational experiences and you are not ready to put in work and you're not ready to give, then it's not going to give you what you want out of it. Because part of, especially like with business coaches, I know if you're not ready to work my coaches won't work with you. But also with like a mastermind, you get what you give. And if you're not willing to pour into the people in the mastermind and be there for them, then that's not going to be reciprocated either. And so I think that's a really important mindset to go into the experience with.
I love that. I obviously love the selective part, but I love that you're saying like you are going to get what you put into something. Like I think no matter what type of education it is, whether it's a Facebook group, a membership site, a DIY course, or like the highest mastermind ever,
yeah,
you can't just show, it's not a magic pill. You can't just show up and your business is going to change. You have to show up and do like half of it's showing up and then half of it's actually going home and doing the work too. So
right. Yeah. And I should say educational experiences have doubled / tripled my income, but they've also doubled / tripled my workload because like there's a lot of stuff to do. But it's all stuff that's moving toward your ultimate goal. And that's, I think, the main point is that if you were to do it all on your own, who knows if you're actually moving forward instead of just moving like sideways or backwards or something like that. So.
And usually, I mean, at least for us, investing in education, it's made us prioritize it a lot faster.
Yeah.
And not just, I think it's really easy as an entrepreneur to just focus on serving your clients all the time and put our own stuff on the back burner. And so having coaches or masterminds or courses that hold you accountable to like still move the needle in your own business. You know, if you didn't hire a coach 3 months in, maybe you would just be doubling your business, your profits now.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I'm a believer.
Well, I'll definitely, I'm going to be linking up to how you can connect with Jess under the video. And so please, A, visit her site, B, stalk her on Instagram because you'll want to be her best friend and see her puppy and drink all the iced coffee. And she gives really awesome education and tips pretty much like all the time, every day on there. So we'll link up there. Be sure to follow her. And thank you so much. I'm so excited that we got to powwow and talk all about education. I really appreciate you sharing your thoughts.
Thanks for having me. That was fun.
And last but not least, the entrepreneur we're going to highlight is Pete. Okay, so Pete, tell us a little about, I guess, what you do in our business. Like, obviously people know who you are, but what specifically do you really lead and what made you decide to invest in education?
So I'm Pete from Pete and Jordan, and I handle a lot of the behind the scenes stuff with Facebook and Google and basically running any paid traffic. And what that means is that I'm setting up campaigns, I'm optimizing current campaigns, setting budgets, creating copy, images, etc. And so I'm handling all that on a day-to-day basis. And the reason that I invested was because in the beginning, there was a lot to learn and it was very overwhelming. There are tons of free resources out there, as there are for most anything, but when it came to wanting to level up and really get a better understanding, I decided that investing in education was the only way to go.
So once you decided you want to invest, how did you decide on the type of investment or education that you wanted to commit to?
Well, it's varied. In the beginning, it was more so not really being sure and just kind of doing some research. And then a few people that I trusted, I asked them who they suggested. But now it's really people that I've worked with before or people that I've really seen to have proven results. So where I am now, it's really more of an instinct and it's more of, hey, I know exactly what I'm looking for. So this is the type of person that's going to fill that need.
What are a few of the ways that you have invested and just kind of touch on like what each of those were and why you chose those?
Yeah, well, we've invested in basically everyone. So we've done anything from masterminds to Facebook groups to coaches. And it depends on what you're looking for. For coaches, the beauty of the coach is that he or she will walk through things with you and you trust their expertise and it's more hands-on. Right now I'm just enrolled in a Facebook group that I pay $50 a month for, which is great because it's more of the advanced Facebook marketers and it's everyone talking about everything on a daily basis. So we can search through the group of basically any topic you need. And in some way, these guys are coaches because they'll know something you don't and vice versa. So that's just more of an ongoing, really nice day-to-day thing because when you do invest in a coach or a course, you're probably going to have to wait for the coach or you might not have all the answers when you need them. So that's the beauty of the Facebook group. And then, yeah, we've invested in some courses too. We've done some DIYs, some walkthrough ones. I think if you're going to invest in the course, you really have to understand how much work's going to go into it before you do it. If you're not willing to commit the work and the time, then it's not even worth investing in the course, in my opinion. So if you haven't invested, I think it's best to do it the DIY version, unless you are very certain that you can put in the effort needed. Going the coach route is the best way, in my opinion.
Do you want to just kind of give a different, like a high level of like what you've invested and how the different ones have impacted what you do in our business?
So how paying different prices affects it?
Or yeah, just highlight different options. Like it's not necessarily like more is better. Just obviously like you pay more to join, like to hire a coach than to be in a $50 a month Facebook group. But they have, I'm assuming, different benefits and different ways they've impacted business.
Yeah, I mean, so for the Facebook group, it's $50 a month, and that's unlimited access to the course, all kinds of different, or to the group, and there's actually modules in there that you can read and learn, and that's just an ongoing thing that comes out to $600 a year, which in my opinion is definitely worth it. But obviously, it's more of a support system, so we have a basis of understanding already. So it's when I need just to kind of research different things, and that's my go-to. We've invested anywhere from $1,500 for a coach up to $7,000, and I just think that it sounds like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money, but it depends on how serious you are about your business, and it also depends on what your business needs. Not everyone's going to need that sort of level, and it really, really depends on where you're at with it. So definitely don't need to spend an arm and a leg for a coach, but it really depends on what you need. I actually hired someone about a year ago. He was someone I've worked with before. I've been in groups with him before. I've seen his business explode, and I knew he was the exact person that I wanted to basically hire for a month. And I didn't really care what the price was, but he says it's $1,000 for four 30-minute calls. And throughout that month, those 4 30-minute calls essentially got us to where we are, a big catalyst in where we are today, selling our online courses, because it was exactly what I needed. So at that point, it didn't really matter what I was going to pay, because the return was well worth it. And then, the courses can be anywhere from a mini course to like $25, $30, all the way up to, I think we've, maybe $9.97. And again, I think that all depends on what you want. I think if you need something quick and you just want to have something in your back pocket, like maybe just a course that goes over, a light course, if you will, that just goes over some basics, it's nice to spend, $50 to always have that resource to go back to. But if you're looking to invest time and money and effort and energy into learning almost a whole new skill set, you're going to have to dish out a little more.
What's one piece of advice to someone that you'd give to someone who's like, I am stuck, or I need help and I need to grow my business and I am looking through the different ways to invest? Who to hire, what kind of program to do? What's one piece of advice that you would give them?
I think you have to figure out what it is you need. I think you need to figure out what your business needs and do an evaluation of where you're at. And if you're ready to scale, that's something totally different than just trying to get your feet under you. And I also think that you need to be just mentally prepared to spend the money, because there is so much free information out there. I mean, if you wanted to, you could figure out how to fix anything on your car. You could figure out how to, repair a table that's broken, all these things that you have around your house. But at what point is it not worth doing that because someone can do a better job? Or if you want to learn, you can actually learn by being next to someone who does it. It's the same way with anything you're doing online. And it's sometimes hard to shift from the mindset of, I could find a YouTube video or a blog and all this free stuff. But there's a reason that we pay for education. And through paying through education, the good and the bad, once you start to see the good, you understand why it's priced at what it's priced at. And paying for it really doesn't become as much a hurdle anymore when you see what it can do for your business.
Awesome.
So,
well, thanks for being part of the video series, Pete.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching the different video interviews. We hope it was really helpful. We're going to link up to everyone below and ways that you can learn from them, or ways that you connect to them if you want to ask them more questions. And we just wanted to, again, encourage you that if you want to invest in your business, if you want to grow, that in our own business, investing in education and the right types of education has just been invaluable to us. It's really hard to just share the type of impact it's had. So really want to encourage you guys to just invest in yourself, invest in your goals, invest in your business, and we can't wait to see what you do.